feel like I should just start every podcast now with the fan.
It's help cool the piping tea we're about to give.
Well, it helps cool because it is currently still 92 degrees here in Arizona. So, you know.
Ooh, no.
It's been bad. It's been bad. Anyway, welcome to The Cup, the currently unnamed podcast where we put the tea in reality and we are the first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy, just a gay, here with my fan, but I don't drink that. I've got water as always because hydration is important, but I'm also drinking some Arizona iced tea. Fun fact, not made in Arizona.
Rude.
I know, but it's really good. It's the green tea, ginseng, and honey. The best one, in my opinion. But it's a good time.
Good time. Hey, y'all. This is Ashley Keenan, a rookie of the challenge. I'm not a vet, but I'm a rookie, and I'm here to talk about the Challenge USA. Had some Gatorade earlier, but Old Reliable's here with me. I have some Fireball because it's about to get spicy, I think, tonight.
I didn't plan this background accordingly, but you know what? It works, so we'll take it. We'll take the bright orangey background, all of that. Ashley, welcome to the Challenge USA here at the Cup.
Thank you. I'm so excited. I've been loving the first 3 episodes. Three.
We are on episode 3.
It's good, and I think I need more. I need more, apparently. But
I honestly kind of wish it was 2 times a week. Honestly, like I'd be fine with that. But CBS has a production schedule. But I was gonna ask how you're feeling about this season, but I'm gonna take it pretty good. And this is your first challenge season as well, like you said, which I love, because I love how many people have gotten into the challenge because of this new format. And it's kind of like I've talked about, it's kind of revitalized my love for the challenge and for this format of social strategy competition, all of that lovely, lovely jazz. But who are you loving so far? I need all the tea.
Well, I love Tyson always and ever on TV. In this season, the challenge, DR, competition, gameplay, he's delivering on all factors. Who else am I loving? James, love James. I love all the Amazing Race just because they're in that minority. I love to see an underdog.
Yes.
Who else? We love. Gosh, I don't know. There's just too many people to love. Xavier. I was a big fan of Tiffany. She was working things until she went. Gosh, I don't. Derek X. I do love Derek X.
It's so weird just calling him Derek. I'm so used to calling him Derek X, but
I can't just say Derek. So we're gonna go Derek X.
Sure.
Survivor and Big Brother are my 2 mains, so I will root for my faves from there.
Sure. Yeah, this season, like we kind of talked about, has kind of just been like, if I were to like handpick a season, this is basically who I would pick from each show. Minus a few, but
whatever. You have to have someone to root against.
Exactly.
To make it a compelling show.
Exactly. And we come back, we are straight, it's still in the arena because Tiffany and Cashel, can't forget about Cashel. I did in our cast assessment. Fun fact. When Lana and I did the cast assessment, we were both like, who is this man? We remembered Kira. Though, that's the thing. We remembered her, just not him.
Not the partner. No.
But he seems fine.
I think he'll take it fine and he'll walk away just fine. No Twitter beef. Nothing for him. Like, he seemed pretty alright. Like, coming from last week, I think it was a good strategic move because this show is strategy as much as people think it's I think there's a more strategy than there's competition. So it might have sucked to see fan favorite Tiffany go, but strategically, she's social, so I get it. So
it was a great move. Like I can't fault Tyson and Justine for the move, but
we don't want to see it.
Exactly. And we got the algorithm. How are you liking the algorithm as a newbie to the challenge?
I think it makes things less stagnant. And I think in a game with chaos, it's better that way because people can't do these big power majorities alliances where you saw Tyson and not Alyssa, but
Angela.
Thank you. A names. They are
Right.
horrid. They are still sticking together in a sense of like alliance-ship, but they can't.
Yeah.
They're running together that way, so
Yeah.
it makes you have to go outside your comfort zone, and I like that. So it's less stagnant and more diversity of partnerships and working together and using strategy that way.
I absolutely agree. So we got the new partnerships from the algorithm, and first is David and Shannon. And I'm going to be honest, once again, I forgot David Alexander was on this show.
And I think the editors did as well.
Yep, he was not shown. Shannon was shown, and I love it because I love my girl Shannon, but...
Has he got a concussion yet?
I think maybe one. Maybe one. I don't think so, honestly.
Well, that just shows... Is he really, like, is he part of the Big Brother
alliance? The fact that David Alexander made it further than Tiffany Mitchell will forever frustrate me.
Yeah.
And the fact that he has now made it further than the people that got eliminated tonight, we'll talk about it.
Bad.
Anyway.
They were actually anyways.
What? Anyway, we'll talk about it. So yeah, we have David and Shannon. We have Kyland and Angela.
They paired up. I was like, that's a strong pairing.
I was like, that's Derek and Shan, which I wanted to love together. We'll talk about their little moments because they didn't really get along all that well.
They were water and oil for sure.
Very that. We have Ben and Kira together, Enzo and Desi, Dominic and Cachet, and boy, we'll talk about Dominic because
sure will.
We have Danny and Azza, Xavier and Kayla, Tyson and Alyssa, Cinco and Sarah, Leo and Justine, and James and Tasha.
You know, it's interesting because we have a lot of mix. There's not a lot of pair to pairs, Survivor. There's not a lot of Big Brother. It's mixed. So
the only pair from the same show, I think, is Kylan and Angela. I think. Yeah. It would be, it's Kylan and Angela this week, which is interesting because in the past weeks we have seen a few different sort of situation pairings where a lot of like same show people have been together based solely on the fact that there's just a lot of them together.
Right.
And so my big thing still is like, how could you not get more amazing race people?
Right. Are they just like not interested or did they not reach out?
Like, I would love like Team Fun. I think Team Fun would be fabulous here. You could even do, and I'm pretty sure most of them were either busy or pregnant during the filming of this, but like, do like the ultimate crossover of the crossover. Hell, right? Where's Rachel Riley? Where's Janelle? Where's Brittany? Exactly. Where's Alyssa? Like these people that have been on multiple of these shows.
Some of them could stay home. We didn't list the ones who wanted to stay home.
Exactly. But like, bring Eliza on.
Yeah.
Eliza. I mean, she's currently like running for office and like
she's trying to be political, but she's
trying to be political, but like she would have gone.
Yeah, I think she might have. I don't think they reached out enough, honestly.
I don't think so either.
That's part of it. But, you know, maybe they wanted some of the not newer, but more current seasons, I'd say, just to keep the relevancy factor for the fans to come in on.
I mean, over half the cast is from Love Island 3, Survivor 41, and Big Brother 23. So...
And Survivor 40.
Oh, and 40. Well...
Which in the last 2 years, so...
Whatever.
Yeah, right? They've been on our screen at least, so...
Tyson! Yeah! But because Amazing Race is in such low numbers, they just want to fly under the radar. They're glad that they're all in different pairings because we saw what happened last week with James and Kayla being paired up. We don't want that to happen again.
No.
We see Shannon Derek talking.
I'm sorry. Is it good or bad? We'll never know.
I love that it's now been dubbed the Shantham.
Right, rather than...
I didn't know we had a term for it, and I'm just so happy that we do.
It's in the universe of the
truly. But Derek is wary of Shan because he knows what she did on her season.
She's a girl. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, it's probably fresh in his head because I think he just watched Survivor with Claire.
Yes.
Out after Big Brother, so it's very fresh in his head.
I now everything makes sense as to why Derek watched it with Claire. Like, everything makes sense now.
Right.
Like, looking back. But also, Claire, where's Claire? I would like to see her on this.
Right. She could have been a fun because she did pretty decent in the athletic part of Big Brother.
Yeah, she did decent. As good as like Ozza did.
Exactly. And it would have been like a spicy like relationship, not spicy, but like a relationship like, oh, we had to break up a couple. You know?
I feel like maybe they were both targeted and they were like, okay, only one of us can go on because we don't need that target.
Right. They wanted to like, you go have your turn, I'll go next.
At least I hope that's what happened, but who knows?
Who knows?
We see James and Tasha, and they're talking about how they have similar approaches, and they're going to be a really good team. And I loved this moment.
See, when I saw them together, I'm like, all right, give me a good puzzle, give me a good like word thing, give me like this
trivia. Give me trivia.
Because if I know anything about James will rock a slide puzzle, a connect the dots, anything logical. He's got down pat. The physical part he can work on. He can get to it.
That's why him and Kayla were so successful in the elimination last week.
Exactly. Like I needed that, you know. That's what they were looking for, you know. So like, we're obviously going to go slow and have to pace some things, so we need to have our strongest advantage. So I did like the conversation where we're compatible in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we see this is the moment where Cache is confiding in Sarah about, you know, the situation with Cinco. And Lord, this has been ongoing for so long at this point. Like, I've lost count. It's it's so back and forth with them. And I'm just like,
how much more can you tell them, like, oh, just leave it be or let it happen or let the man flirt or go talk to him about how you feel when he flirts? So, like, what more can you tell someone other than either confront it or let it go?
Well, and they were very freshly out of a relationship as this was filming, like a couple of months.
So, you know, it's one of those things that's going to hurt to see your ex do yoga, do stretching, do weightlifting. What was it? I don't even remember what the activity was.
Yoga, I think, with Tiffany. Yeah, I think it was like stretching.
There was bending.
I don't know.
All I remember. There was bending in a short shirt.
Very that. But, and then this is where we see the continuation of the Tyson-Angela alliance. They want to start targeting the weaker teams so that way it eliminates weaker players so that way they aren't partnered with them moving forward, which I don't know how you... Yeah.
Because if you're going to the game, generally think, I want to take my strongest competitor out so I can don't have to beat them in the end. Tyson said, no, reverse Uno. Yeah. I want to have strong people with me so I can keep winning and keep staying in. Because I think his strategy is, if I go in there, I've got to win out everything.
Yeah. So, well, he said that from the beginning, too. He's like, I want to win every single challenge.
Right. I mean, so... I think it's going to work, and I think it's a different take than most people will want to go with. They want to take out the strong, competitive people.
Absolutely. So we got into the challenge. The daily challenge is Hang On Man. It's Hangman. I have to be really honest. I was so confused by this challenge when TJ was explaining it. I was like, so ladder and then standing and then
I don't think I fully understood it until about like the third run back when I realized that each person had a different phrase, because I'm like, why aren't they just cheating off the person to the left? Oh,
right, yeah. Everyone's got a different one.
B, and then I'm like, oh wait, someone's got to hang on to something, but if you drop, I was like, oh, this is so too much.
I look at this in two stages. So stage one of the challenge, you have to run down this parking lot. Asphalt. Some grass. There's a little bit of grass. Some people Some people were running. Kylan was running on grass the whole time. I was like,
maybe that helped his joints.
I was gonna say. Anyway, so you have to grab these like puzzle pieces to make a ladder, and then make the ladder, and then climb up. And then one player is going to have a bar on their shoulders, and they're holding on to it. The other person is going to be taking letters, running back down the parking lot, and
groceries,
and basically playing Wheel of Fortune, but with running. And then there are mystery PAs behind all the boards. I was like, how are they gonna do this? And then there were just mystery PAs, and I was like, oh, thank you, mystery PAs.
The PAs are the best.
Truly that. And then you have to guess your phrase, but if you guess a letter incorrectly, you have to bring back a 10-pound weight and put it on your partner's bar that they're holding on to. And then if you drop, you are immediately eliminated, and you go into the arena first, if you're the first. There were a lot of moving parts to this challenge.
Let's walk through it piece to piece on like the strategies people did and what we liked and what we didn't like.
Yes, so this first stage, I liked how people were running, and people were grabbing the ladder, and people were doing that. And Tasha says, oh no, I'm going to take my time.
You're like, well, I mean, I understand as someone who doesn't like running that.
Sure, same. No, totally same.
But you're trying to be fast, and I don't think I love that approach as much.
I honestly feel like James and Tasha went into this challenge, and they're like, as long as we're not last.
Yeah, I think that's what you have to do, right?
Yeah, it's at this point, it's like, as long as you're not last. And there wasn't a whole lot of strategy necessarily going on in the ladder building part. Derek was getting very frustrated with Shan.
I think there's a little that Kylan really excelled on, and is getting it lined up so he could have it ready, and his partner Angela. I
mean, she's fairly forgettable, so it's all good.
I mean, they're both A names, and they're both brown
from
hair.
Big Brother, and brown hair, and yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, Angela puts him in while he organizes. And then you have the complete opposite failures where I think Sarah and whoever Sarah was with was struggling.
Sarah and Cinco were struggling a little bit with it. Derek and Shan were struggling a little bit. Someone else other than Tasha and James were struggling. I don't remember.
You'd think the survivors would do better at that because they have that challenge every season.
Right.
I'm not saying that wasn't agreed, but it was.
And I was going to say, all of the survivors have at least made it to jury except for Desi.
Exactly. Like,
so
you should know how to put a peg ladder going. Like, that's
right.
what I'm saying. So,
yeah. So then
that's the first part.
Yeah, Kylan and Angela were the first to complete their ladder. Like you said, the strategy of that I thought was really, really good. But most people were like fairly in this challenge. Like Tyson and Alyssa were in the challenge. Ben and Kira were very much so in the challenge. I'm trying to think of who else was doing really, really well.
Enzo was in it.
Enzo and Desi were in it. They were doing. Cinco and Sarah were doing very well.
Yes. I think that was like the top 5 or 6 that were
probably
that they focused on the most at the edit for getting fast and complete well. I
do want to point out the funniest part of this challenge is like TJ says go, and the first confessional we hear is Shannon, and she's like, I'm partnered with David and I'm worried. And I'm just like, me too, girl. I'm worried for you. Like,
right? Like,
oh boy.
You know, David, how physical is he? I don't know. Is he doing the spelling? I don't know. Can he do a phrase? We'll find out. That's kind of what Shannon's thinking, I'm imagining.
Why is he still here? Why was he cast? Why was he chosen over Mike Holloway, the winner of Survivor Worlds Apart?
Because Mike would have blown circles on these challenges. I think. Like,
I really feel like Mike and Tyson, Mike Tyson, would have like dominated this season. And honestly, for Mike's sake, having not been on Survivor Winners of War, I would have loved to see it.
Right, just to see, because he's been married, he's like moved on his life, like, and he's married to a Big Brother former player. So
he's married to he's married to Meg. Yeah. I love Meg. Mm-hmm. I love Meg. Where's Meg? Bring back Meg. You know what? Bring back Meg.
Exactly. Well, let's start a wish list at plus CPS.
Yeah. I have a full wish list of people I want to see on the next season. Trust. Trust. I want Angie Rockstar. Oh. I want Caitlyn for the bullshit. I want Meg. True. Maybe she can get her puzzle redemption. I want Jackie from Amazing Grace and Big Brother. From Big Brother 17, because she would be great. Who else do I want to see? Vanessa Russo, because why not?
Strategy queen.
You know. June Song, she would never do it.
But
I would love to see it.
I'd like to hear just like, I'm good, I'll sit.
Truly that. So people are going, people are doing well, people are getting their letters, and I think James and Tasha are the last team to get it.
I think, yes, they're definitely the slowest. And James did tweet and saying the edit makes them look they're a lot further behind. They weren't as far, but they were further behind, is what they said.
Word.
So, do you think there's a letter? So Ben, Mr. Wheel of Fortune, says T.
No, because that's exactly how I would have approached this challenge.
Right.
Because I love Wheel of Fortune. Like, I love Wheel of Fortune. It's always been my dream to be on Wheel of Fortune. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but, like, that's, like, a dream of mine. And going into it, he's like, well, so I know from Wheel of Fortune that RSTLNE are, like, the things that they give in the final Wheel of Fortune round. I almost said Final Jeopardy as well. Don't worry. In the final round, because those are the 6 most common letters in the English language.
Mm-hmm.
And so my exact strategy would have been RSTLNE. Like, it would have been that. It would have, like, I would have started there and then maybe branched out to vowels and, like, figured it out from there.
I think I would have done all the vowels. Probably just been like,
sure,
just do it.
A lot of people ended up doing that as well.
Right, just like get the hard ones out of the way first, but do you want to try to keep your partner light? That was kind of a debate too, of like, if I went all vowels, my partner would have hated me.
Yeah,
they wouldn't have all been there, surely.
Yeah.
So,
and then James gets his first letter wrong, and then he runs back, and he puts 1 10-pound weight on Tasha's bar, and she drops it.
I think so. Watching that in slow motion in my head, she goes, "Let me know when it drops," and he's like, "All right, I'll let you know when it drops," and he does it, but it drops a lot faster than he expects it to. I think.
Yeah.
And I think what he needed to do is what Tyson did later.
Hold it from the bottom.
3 and then let go once she has balance, and
because that's the really difficult step is only having 1, and we saw a lot of people struggling with that. I think Danny was one of them. I think Justine was another one that struggled with it. And so and once you balance it, I remember Alyssa specifically, once she got the second one to balance everything, she looked a lot more stable from what we saw, having 1 on each side.
Exactly. You're not lopsided.
I honestly wish it had been 2 5-pounds just to put on each side.
Right.
Because I feel like that's a lot nicer, I guess. I mean, the challenge isn't supposed to be nice, but whatever.
Be more like functional, I think. And make it maybe not fair, but like more of an even playing field, perhaps.
I think I agree with you on that. But because Tasha drops, James and Tasha are going immediately into the arena, which I was devastated.
I was also devastated. I think we each are doing devastation for one part of the pair, I think, at that moment.
I love James too.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, when this cast was announced, I have to say, like, the 3 people I was most excited to see were Desi, Tasha, and James.
Oh yeah. So
those were like
3.
Yeah, literally.
Right.
Those were like the three that I was like, thank God they called Tasha. Desi was a complete surprise for me, and she's been killing it, and I'm so happy to see it. But yeah, it was literally Desi, Tasha, and James were like the ones I was, and Shannon, I think I would put in that like fourth spot. But so this was just devastating.
It was hard, and they had to sit there and watch everyone run back and forth. And
yeah,
I think they were hoping for probably at that point either a tar or a survivor person to win, so they could at least have a chance to try to like get someone good for the challenge that they might beat, which we'll talk about.
We will. So the comp ends up coming down to Kylan and Angela versus Ben and Desi, or Ben and Kira. And Kylan runs down, he gets the puzzle, he takes the giant weight back. Ben, shortly after, gets the puzzle, starts running back, but it's too late, and Kylan and Angela win the challenge.
You know, I think it made sense, because when I saw that pairing on the algorithm, I'm like, it's a really strong pair. Like, Tyson and Alyssa, that was like, those were the two in my head that might feel like competing for like strength, just purely as a balanced duo. So,
and I thought the third, honestly, in that would have been Sarah and Cinco.
Yes, absolutely. Because Sarah, it wasn't slacking in that running, at least.
No, they were in the challenge. They definitely weren't like, they weren't going to win, I don't think, but they were definitely in the challenge. So, Kylan and Angela win. James and Tasha are into the elimination. And we go back. Tyson immediately goes to Angela and says, okay, the weak teams clearly are Dominic and Cachet and David and Shannon. Now, I didn't immediately see Dominic and Cachet as a weak pair.
Right. Maybe it's, I know Dom's age probably makes it the weak part for him. I'd say he's one of the older men.
Sure. I think he's the oldest. It's either him or Tyson.
Yeah. And Tyson would never consider himself as an old male. No. He's young.
Yeah, I mean, David and Shannon made sense, but then we'll talk about it. David and Shannon are literally never mentioned again.
Oh, yeah. No.
I was like, what happened to David? Like, I don't want to see Shannon go, obviously, but I'm like, hello? Like, and it's because David is Big Brother. Sure. Keeping Big Brother. Sure. Whatever.
Keeping a warm... what? No.
Exactly.
I think it's because, at least in the edit format, they shifted to something James alludes to being okay with. That's probably why we don't hear about it.
Yeah, so Leo is talking with Justine and being like, no, I don't think we're going in. I don't think James would ever, like, want to go against me. And then literally across the courtyard, James is telling Dominic and Sarah that he would be fine going against Leo and Justine. And then talking with Kylan and Angela says, I would be fine going against Leo and Justine. Mostly because Justine has money. Justine has won a challenge. Justine has the money. And at this point, you need $5,000 in order to make the finals. So...
yeah. If I know one thing about James, too, is he's going to look at the whole picture and look at how he can get himself further into the best position. Yeah. And while it might be hard as a friendship, I think in the game he knows that sometimes you have to cut it to make it work. And like it's all game sense, and I think a lot of the friendship outside had to be kind of like quieted just a little bit. But like he also tweeted that in the discussion with Angela and Kylan is they didn't go straight to say, hey, I want Theo to go. It was, here's our whole list. And they literally went person by person by person. And the edit made it look like, he was like, yeah, here's my silver platter. Yeah,
sure. And Leo's kind of taken aback because James like has a conversation with him. Leo, it becomes very clear to Leo that James threw out his name. And it's interesting for me because I understand it from both perspectives, because the way I look at it, and I don't know if you would agree, I think James is playing the individual game, which is what you're supposed to, and I think Leo's playing the team game.
And he's already in the majority of the team game. That's the issue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, exactly. I agree. They're like Team Tar till the end.
Yeah.
And you're like,
and James is like, I'm going to work with who I need to get further in the game because this is an individual game. Exactly. I recognize that I am not in the major power blocks, so
I need to get into it.
And James talks about wanting to work with Survivor.
Well, yeah, and with Tasha as his partner right there, he goes Survivor.
This is the perfect opportunity, yeah.
Exactly, and I know he's watched all Survivor, big Survivor fan, and I think he's done a few events where he's probably crossed paths, like down in Orlando. So he's hoping that he can try to use some of those social relationship forming to try to get in. But the question is, how do you do that correctly, and who do you put in so you can win?
Yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, we have this alternative storyline of Dom and Cache, and Dom is going around the house basically saying, I'm ready to go in, ready to do it. It's game time. It is what it is. And Cache is like, why are you telling people you want to go into an elimination? And she straight up asks him if he wants to go in. He's like, I kind of do. I'm like,
is he bored? Like,
well, he was not featured in the first 2 episodes, so apparently. I was like, this is the first time we heard from Dominic or Tasha was in this episode.
Right. They're like, all right. Either they're getting bored. They want to do something, get some strategy going, or just get in there and do something fast.
And then Dominic makes a comment that really pisses me off, honestly, where he's in confessional and he's like, I'm a construction foreman, whatever the fuck he does. And he's like, I don't ask the opinion of the crew that works for me. I tell them what to do. And I'm like, well, that's not going to work because you're in a partnership.
Right.
Where your partner is worth 50% of whether you stay or leave.
Yeah. Because, like, in Survivor, yes, you worked with a team, but as an individual game, Dominic, yes, I understand this we do for a living. You manage, but here's the thing. Also, as a team, you have to lead and be good with the team and work and make sure you're having those interpersonal connections. Because if you have a beef with one of your guys under you, it's not going to work well, and your team's not going to go well. Do the same with your partnership.
Honestly, the misogyny just jumped out, and I was like,
"It's hard when you put a guy in there. You know, he's a great guy, great.
Well, yeah, and especially being partnered with Cache, the last person you want to do that with, honestly, because like, if there were like 2 people I would not want to do that to in this house, it's Shannon or Cache.
Right.
Because you're just going to get told off, and that's exactly what happens.
Maybe it was a good thing, though. He can open his eyes.
Well, he didn't open his eyes in the thing we're about to talk about. We're at the elimination. So we are at the elimination. James and Tasha go in. Kyland and Angela pick Dominic and Cache to go in against them. Do we like this choice?
I almost did if it was a minute later. I would have loved the choice in the end.
I would have loved the choice had it been 5 seconds later.
Exactly. Looking at the challenge and looking to see how they compete, I think maybe he could have beat Leo and Justine, truthfully. So, yeah, I think
Leo is a good swimmer. Like, he does well with water.
Right.
And I think Justine has the height.
But can she balance? I don't see. That's the question.
I don't know.
Is there would David have done worse? Can David swim?
Probably.
Can he stack? Can he
Shannon probably would have wanted to be the one in the
water. Yeah, and him build because he's taller.
So can David stack?
The question is, can someone stand on and then hold the water in? That's the true question. Would any of them have been smart enough to put their foot down?
Okay, so the comp is called Plug and Play, where you are in a water tank. One player releases blocks in the tank. and then the other player has to jump down a fire pole for some reason. I thought that was like the randomest part of this challenge, but whatever. And stack 14 blocks. But the twist is water will be rapidly flowing. That's a word. Thank you very much. Flowing out of the tank. And if your tank dips below this certain level, you're automatically eliminated.
And it almost happened.
I want to know how close it was. Because the whole time I'm watching this go down where Dominic is just like yelling at Cachet through this tank that is rapidly decreasing, and everyone looking up above is just like,
"You're there's
an idiot.
There's a hole.
Cover the hole." Like, oh my god! And I love Cachet. I do. But in that moment, I wanted them to lose. I wanted him to go home, and I wanted him to have that shame.
Yeah, because, like, James is literally putting his foot, his butt, his everything.
When he said he tried to sit on the plug, I was like, baby, no!
He's probably like, nope, it didn't feel good. It wasn't a good time.
No.
I'm happy he could stand on it in effective, like, because he was actively water controlled the whole time. Well,
yeah,
which maybe it slowed them down a little, but also his water was very much so like 3/4 full by the time they finished.
It just baffled me because in the little like confessional before they go in, Cachet is like, well, maybe I should be in the tank because I'm lighter and I displace more water, and Dominic's like, no.
He's like, I don't care about the water. Water's not a challenge.
I wanted them to lose this challenge so bad, Ashley.
And I honestly thought they were going to. I honestly thought they were, because like there was this like the tape's here and the water's like right here. Like, there couldn't have been anything closer.
I really want to know how close it was. Like, I kept looking. I literally paused it on my TV and looked, and I was like, is it under? Was it under? I don't think it was. But
no, I know. It's for my curiosity, I might have to do some digging and asking. But yeah.
If I'm to get James, Tasha, or Cachet, if I'm ever to talk to them, I'm gonna ask. Because I'm really curious. But yes, Dom and Cachet win the elimination. And James and Tasha have to go home. And I'm sad about it.
I'm very sad. Truth be told, I knew some spoilers going in. I knew
they went home this week.
Because I knew I didn't win. I knew it was early enough because I had James's Twitter notifications on, and I got a tweet that he tweeted. I'm like, oh, guys, he's out of the challenge. Oh,
no.
And I knew it was early enough that we hadn't seen much. So it's like they hadn't been gone that long. So I was like, oh, no. Yeah. So I knew it was soon. But I will say the 3 episodes James had, I know he strategized. He got himself out of that first challenge and going that way. He made the moves he needed to. And he showed just because he's an amazing racer doesn't mean there's not strategy within him and within the game of the Amazing Race. Yeah. So I was like, I was so proud of him be able to showcase that because I know he has it. Because I've watched him play other games, other shows. Yeah. And I'm happy people got to see it and find new fans and fans of him.
I wanted to see more of both of them.
Oh, I feel like we didn't get enough Tasha at all.
I feel like we barely got any Tasha, and I'm just like, and she even talks about it in confessional. She's like, I don't know where that spark is that I had on Survivor both times I played. Like, I don't know where that is, and I'm trying to find it.
Right. Maybe it's environmental where she needed to be on that island to be a little more like flight or fight. Like maybe it was too comfortable in the challenge styling.
Yeah.
That's it's hard to know with these players going to a different format. Are they better at this format or the other? So hard to know.
Both of these 2 lovely humans would be people that I would love to see on a future Challenge USA, Challenge MTV. If either of them is on the Challenge MTV, I'll watch the season until they get eliminated.
Oh, absolutely. I would.
Or win. When they win.
When they win. I'll be on Twitter cheering them on the hardest I ever could because we need more CBS fan. Like, we need less of the 4 CBS players we have on MTV.
Agreed.
But
because the selections that they've made so far.
Choices. As one queen once said, choices.
And Davon Rogers.
I've been seeing her first season right now. I get it.
Honestly, the Davon era of the Challenge, even though she was only on 2 seasons.
I'm on 32 right now, and she's been back and forth and getting fight and going back and winning and going and girl, Davon is so good. I need
to finish her season of X on the Beach.
Ooh.
I watched part of it, but
she's a queen. We stand.
Yeah. But that's that. Thank you so much for joining us for the Challenge USA episode 3. Ashley, you're always a lovely face to see. Thank you for doing this with me.
Of course, I'm loving it. So I'll happily talk about some of my faves.
Yay!
As they say, this is no warm-up. 12 miles is nothing. I'll be back again to talk more.
The warm-up comment, and then Alyssa was like, that was me. Died!
I lost it.
I loved that moment. I truly, truly loved it.
But they left it in the edit because it's so funny.
Same!
Gosh.
But with that, make sure to subscribe, like, and share on the way out. Follow Ashley, because she's great.
I'm always tweeting about something. If you can't.
Reality TV, cruises, Wisconsin things.
Ice cream, fairs, anything. Follow me and come find out. That's the real fun. It's always
honestly. Cheers, my love.
Cheers.
Woo.
Start warming up. Get those 12 miles going. Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna do that.
Get on the bike and ride out of here. Go now.
I have a stationary bike in my living room. Still not doing that.